Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so the last 24 hours have been huge for Omega. They've announced the release of the Steel 321 Movement Speedmaster. All right, this is huge, and this is something that we've wanted for a long time. Now, this is sort of like a reissue of the pre-Moon Speedmaster. And let me just go over the stats. I don't want to talk too much about the stats of this watch because what I really want to talk about is what this means and what Omega is doing, and we're going to get to that. But let me just say that it's a 39.7 millimeter case, which is a perfect size. It's got a vintage styling bracelet, and it's manual wind, and it's got a display case back. And the display case back is sort of not really original, but that's okay. You're going to want to see that 321 movement because that's really what you're paying for. And it's a beautiful movement. Now, they have it PVD coated in gold. I'm not such a fan of PVD coating. It tends to chip, and I suppose after a few services, maybe it could look not quite as pristine as it did right out of the box. I'm not really sure. If I were a watchmaker, I would cringe at the idea of nicking that gold PVD. It's got a warm look to it. It's beautiful, and perhaps that's part of the justification of the quite high price tag, which we'll talk about in a minute. But overall, I think it's a fantastic piece, and my criticism has long been in regard to this Speedy that it's been more of an homage watch than anything. And you know, they changed the movement, and it was a cam-driven chronograph versus the original 321 movement, which is a column wheel chronograph. And I thought that was sort of shoddy. And they always tended to put on, you know, these cheesy slogans: first watch on the moon, or the eagle has landed, something on the case back. That's gone, all right? So this is truly sort of what would have become of the pre-Moon Speedmaster if the line just had, you know, naturally continued up until 2020. Now, let's talk about the pricing. And the pricing is pretty expensive, 14,100 USD. Now, Archie made a video in which he says that makes sense in regards to vintage 321 movement Speedies. You know, they're priced at 14, 15, 16,000 USD. And so this could potentially sway a buyer in the market for that vintage piece to go for this new piece. And as he pointed out, it's always nice to have the vintage piece, but they're finicky, and if parts need replacing, that can be a hassle. They are very likely ticking time bombs, so going new makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm going to take another perspective on this, and I think what he says is absolutely true. I think that they might have been eyeing Rolex, okay? And what do I mean? Okay, so Rolex, and I'm stating the obvious, if you're new here, this might be new information for you, but you can't find steel Rolexes in the stores, okay? They sell for a premium on the pre-owned market, and it's a great place to be. That's where Omega wants to be. They're probably very jealous of Rolex. That's where they would love their brand to be. I mean, the idea of your watch brand being so desirable that you can't keep your pieces in stores, that's pretty much a dream for any watch manufacturer. For that reason, I think this watch is not just a release of a watch. I think possibly it's the release of a strategy, and that is this. And just keep in mind that they have been holding this nuclear option in their back pocket for years, and we've known they've had it, and we've known that they could do it. Well, they're starting to do it, and here's, I think, their game plan. Now, are they going to flood the market? No. They're going to release this sparingly. Could they screw it up? Sure, but I think they're going to release this sparingly, and it's going to sell out. So the question is it worth it? Well, you know, to me, it's not worth it, the object itself. And if you plan to hold on to it, and it very well is not worth the 14,000, but it is going to sell out. So if you do find one and you buy it, very likely you can immediately flip it. This is my prediction on the gray market for more. Okay, so while it might not be worth the money, if you are faced with one and you've got the money, and I don't to conduct this experiment, but you might consider getting it. Anyway, I don't think they're going to flood the market. I think that they're going to release it sparingly, and I think on the gray market it will probably compete with the Daytona. And not that Omega cares about that, but it's priced at a price where you know somebody buys it for 14 and it winds up on the gray market for 20. Well, then all of a sudden it's competing on the gray market with the Daytona. Again, Omega doesn't care really about that. I think that's how it's going to play out on the gray market. What they care about is the fact that it's going to be a desirable piece. People are going to go crazy over it. And even though it's not a limited edition, I think they're going to limit the production of it. And in that way, they're going to have their Rolex Daytona, so to speak. Could they screw it up? Absolutely. Could they just release it and without abandon, and could you find it on the pre-owned market at half price? Yeah, that could happen. It's all about what they do and how much they release. This is a special thing, and I don't think that they're going to screw it up. I think they're gonna hold back, and I think this could be the start of kind of a situation with Omega that you see with Rolex. And some people have criticized that this is not a Speedmaster Professional. Hold, it's coming. That's nuclear option number 2, all right? And I think we'll see that in the future as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, again, it really depends on whether they flood the market with them, which I don't think they will, or they don't. And I don't think, again, they will, because I think that this is, going to be the piece that competes with the steel sports Rolex pieces, and we'll see if Omega can manage to pull that off. It really depends on how greedy they get. They want to sell enough to make a huge amount of money, but just few enough that they're kind of hard to get. Yeah, and that's the balance they're facing. We'll see if they can pull it off. Should you buy one? Well, if you want to keep it, if it's worth a price, yes. For me, absolutely not. It's just too expensive. In fact, it's so expensive that I kind of look at it and I think, well, you know, I can save 11,000 USD, and I'm okay with a cam-driven chronograph. Thank you very much. So maybe, you know, if I ever do go speedy, I will go homage version. But, you know, for some people it will be worth it. And if you're looking to make a quick buck and you are faced with one, I think my guess is you could make a quick buck. I mean, hey, some Omegas, you know, they go up. This Snoopy selling for about 25 grand right now. So I think this will be much more desirable than a Snoopy. And again, it's not a limited edition, but I think they're gonna limit it. So I think they will treat it as a limited edition if they don't screw it up. Let me know what you think about this Omega. Are you gonna get one? And faced with the possibility of it shooting up in price on the pre-owned market, if you were to be faced with one at the price of 14,100 USD, would you buy one? Let me know what you would do. Thanks for watching. Take care. Let me know what you think. See you next time.